Did you know that every year we celebrate June as National Homeownership Month? That's right. Back in 1995, President Clinton decreed a week-long celebration. A few years later, President George W. Bush issued a proclamation dedicating the entire month. That's because our presidents believed in recognizing the important relationship between homeownership and achieving the American dream, and encouraging people around the country to learn more about homeownership opportunities and financial management plans.
At the current state, some people are benefiting greatly from rising home values, while other people are feeling left out, but we want more inclusive, more expanded opportunity for consumers.
But for many, that dream is now at risk. That's in large part because the real estate and economic crisis impacted some of us differently than others. While you and your loved ones may have fully recovered, many have not, and in fact may not ever. How well you did or did not fare depends on many factors, including where in our nation you live, your race, age, household type, and economic condition. For example, folks in the Midwest and Northeast regions, where the construction boom was less pronounced and home price appreciation was generally more moderate, were more resilient. So recent homeownership rates in those regions tend to be flat or even up slightly, while folks in the South and West have experienced more volatility. African American households have been disproportionately impacted by recent homeownership declines. In fact, at this point, the African American homeownership rate is about 20% lower than it is for anyone else. And when it comes to age, folks in the 25 to 29 range have been among the hardest hit.
Hearing the research finding as to why homeownership rate has fallen to 50-year lows and what is the best way to reverse it. Which means that there is a lot of policy proposals, both at the federal, state, and local levels, that will lead to more successful home ownership.
Looking back, we know that much can be attributed to risky home loans. If many of these folks had instead taken out conventional 15 or 30-year fixed-rate loans, they may still own their homes today. But the question remains, where do we go from here? What's ailing the American dream of home ownership today? How do we protect it for future generations and ensure against future crises? Funny you should ask, because renowned industry experts convene to discuss just that. Take, for example, the Sustainable Homeownership Conference at the University of California, Berkeley, featuring National Association of Realtors President Bill Brown and Chief Economist examining current trends in homeownership, impacts on our society, and potential ways to reverse the decline in our nation's homeownership.
We know that most middle-class families build their wealth through home ownership, so we want to see what we can do to boost home ownership, but we don't want an artificial home ownership rate where it leads to eventual foreclosure. We want a sustainable, successful home ownership, and this is what the conference is all about.
Learn more about what's ailing American home ownership, what's being done about it, and how it all affects your own home and wallet. Tell us what you think about sustaining the American dream of homeownership, or email your questions.